The Local Show, sponsored by Victory in Motion, home of knee repair, not knee replacement, on News Radio 570 WSYR, on 106.9 FM, and live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. The Local Show features in-depth conversation with business owners, employees, and influential business leaders throughout Central New York, exploring their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in our growing community. The Local Show is produced locally by Zoe Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back into it, and we're back at it. This is The Local Show with Tom and Steve.
Yeah.
Gary Craig is with us right now. He's the co-owner of North Syracuse Storage. Hey there, Gary. How are you?
Good, and you?
Well, I've been better. Probably not as good as you. So tell us, what's your background, and how did you get involved with North Syracuse Storage?
Well, I'm a civil engineer who has been a real estate developer, renewable energy developer. Mm-hmm. And basically, we got involved in this building because of our past experience developing projects. And we were approached by the owner of the land, Joe Jerry, who developed the 2 hotels there across from Delta Sonic. And he wanted to put in a self-storage facility, didn't know how to go about building the facility, and asked us to get involved with him. So we formed a LLC, and a couple of years later, it's open and renting cubicles.
But you're the primary owner?
I am an owner of one of the 2 LLCs that own the company.
Okay. All right.
So much more complicated than I'm capable of.
So you didn't just build your regular run-of-the-mill metal storage buildings.
No, this one is much different. It's styled after a lot of those that you would see in Florida in a lot of the larger markets. Mm-hmm. It's a 4-story building. It's not just a metal garage type thing that you see in most self-storages, especially around here.
It looks like high-end apartments.
It kind of does. I never thought about that.
In many respects it is. It's got 2 elevators in it to serve the 4 floors. The only trouble with the apartment analogy is we've only got one large window wall in the corner.
Right.
And you can see that from quite a ways away, and you can see storage units inside that.
Gotcha. Just backing up for a moment, you said you were a civil engineer. What college did you go to?
University of Toronto.
Really? Are you from that area,
no,
or you just wanted to go there?
I'm from Utica.
So who from Utica goes to Canada for college other than you?
Well, surprisingly, there were a lot of people I knew in the high school days that went up there.
No kidding.
How they started to do that, I don't know. But at that particular point in time, I think it was the best secret going.
Yeah.
It was a very economical education, very good school.
And what a cool town to be a teenager in, right?
Oh, yeah. I was there when you couldn't see anything but sky cranes all over Toronto.
No kidding.
Wow.
Yeah. I took my honeymoon there in '93. Went to
Toronto?
The Bond Hotel. Yeah. Saw what was that? The Phantom of the Opera. The original.
That was the big deal then. Remember, it was Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
We went to Ottawa, Tom.
Oh, Ottawa's nice too. The Rideau Canal.
It was on a budget. We went to camp up at Lake Ontario for a couple nights. Then we went to Gananoque.
Oh yeah,
nice. Bay, and then we went to Gananoque in Ottawa. That's cool. I mean, we did the whole honeymoon for probably $60.
A civil engineer, just to get people on the right page here. You deal with what in learning civil engineering?
Strength of materials, the type of materials you put together. My particular minor, I had dual minors. One was in transportation, so I learned about traffic management and design and that type of thing.
Yeah.
And soil engineering, which had to do with foundations.
I gotcha.
But there's a lot of other disciplines in civil, but I like to joke with people and tell them I'm civil some days.
That's pretty cool.
Did you apply any of that into the storage building, or was that more your experience from real estate that went into that?
No, I think that is part of the underpinning of my experience in how to handle buildings and do things that are different. Mm-hmm. And that's what a lot of we ended up doing because the building ended up happening during COVID.
Okay, so here a few weeks ago, I was with the guys and went into that building, drove in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
Driving, the gate goes up, and I felt like I was in New York City or somewhere. The gate goes down, the door shuts, and there's all that storage and all that space. And I was imagining trying to manage or move things in the winter? You know, how
or a day like today when it's can't decide whether it wants to rain or snow outside.
Yeah.
Right.
A perfect situation is it's warm, dry, and
How large of a vehicle can you get in there?
any passenger type vehicle, panel truck, has a 12'3" clearance bar on it. So
see.
you can't be any higher than that.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can bring in a substantial amount of stuff and
Yes,
store it.
yes.
Even in inclement weather, but you're not in inclement weather once you're inside.
Right. And you and I were talking about humidity, and I was saying climate control. You were saying humidity. Why is that important? If you know, because there are some heated places you can't drive into them like this place.
Right.
But what's the humidity, and how does that affect being able to store stuff?
Well, the humidity has a lot to do with the protection of your goods. Take paper as an example. If you store paper in a very humid location, try to bring the paper back and run it through a copy machine or scanner or anything like that.
It'll stick.
It'll jam. It'll do all kinds of things.
Yeah, sure.
Furniture, instruments. When we were here before, we talked about guitars as an
Sure.
example.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
One of the things that relative humidity makes a difference on is preventing things from expanding, contracting, collecting too much moisture. But one of the most important things of all of them, heat, cool, relative humidity, is the rate of change.
Okay.
Because if it's going to change, you don't want it to change rapidly.
Okay. Or it wrecks whatever affects.
Or cyclically. Especially where it's expanding, contracting. You don't want that to happen, especially if you've got good furniture and that type of thing there.
Yeah, last week I actually reached out, maybe it was a week or two ago, I reached out about a unit, and something very unusual happened. Someone called me back. I thought that was fabulous. I went into the website and was there and was trying to reserve it, and they actually got back to me. And we had a conversation, so it felt really personal, because so many of these storage places, they're out in the weeds, and you feel like you're on your own. You had somebody that could actually help.
Yes, two ladies there handling the customer interaction and the leasing, Becky and Terry. And one of the things I would advise anybody that's interested to do, look at the reviews.
Right.
They have 121 5-star reviews.
And most people don't even write reviews. I don't know, if I stored stuff, I would be like, write a review. Usually the only people that write reviews are angry.
No, they have a great following. Everybody loves them. They do a good job with anybody that's coming in new. If they have a problem, one of them wrote about Becky changing the lock on their unit because they lost their key.
Oh, I see. So tell us, who is the ideal customer for this particular storage unit?
It can be people with no basement or too much stuff to put in the basement.
Right.
Could be people moving into a new house. Could be businesses. In fact, we have found out yesterday, we have some international renters.
Okay.
Yes.
And they're businesses who rent to store their goods and that they sell in the local Syracuse market.
So the website, selfstoragesyracuse.com.
Yes.
You can take a look at it. And again, this is right at the end of like the airport road across from Delta Sonic.
Yes.
And what else I found out real quick is you don't charge a whole lot more than everybody else. The prices are fair, but the product is better. It isn't just some metal barn out in the field. So
that's right.
So pretty cool stuff. Selfstoragesyracuse.com right there on South Bay. Thanks for joining us, Gary.
Thank you.